Hey OCBC, Cody Sanders here with your daily Acts video. Every now and then during this series, you're going to see the familiar face of another OCBCer talking a bit about their relationship to the book of Acts. And today we have a very special guest. Some of you will remember him from just a couple of years ago, Mikeal Parsons.
Hi, Old Cambridge Baptist Church. This is Mikeal Parsons in Waco, Texas. Some of you might remember me from my time in Cambridge and as a participant in the Old Cambridge Baptist Church back in 2017. Pastor Cody has asked me to offer a few reflections on the book of Acts, so I'm happy to do that. About 20 years ago, when I was beginning to write a commentary on Acts, a colleague said to me, "You know, with Acts, you've got the best story and the worst theology." And I knew what he was talking about because Acts has traditionally been understood to be anti-Semitic, written by a Gentile for Gentiles. It's understood to be uneschatological. That is, Luke has lost his nerve when thinking about the apocalyptic teaching of Jesus and tries to periodize salvation history. Acts is accused of being accommodationist toward the Roman Empire. And triumphalistic. That is, the story of the Christian movement overcomes and overwhelms everything in its way. Well, I think each of those is a bad reading of Acts, and I'll take each one in turn. Let me start with the question about whether or not Luke was a Gentile writing for Gentiles. I think the answer to that is yes, the audience of Acts was predominantly Gentile, but the traditional understanding of that is Luke was writing for Gentiles to separate Judaism from Christianity, when in fact I think the opposite is true. Luke is writing to a predominantly Gentile audience in order to convince them that in order to understand the Jesus story well, you have to understand that it's connected to and anchored in the story of Israel as recorded in Israel's scriptures and traditions. The Gospel of Luke, also written by Luke, begins in the temple with Zechariah making sacrifice. The book of Acts begins in and around the temple in Jerusalem, and there's a Jewish flavor throughout the book. So Luke is writing not to separate these two movements. That doesn't occur actually until the middle of the 2nd century or later in what we call the Party in the Ways, but rather to remind these amnesiac Gentiles that they need to recover their Jewish roots. They are tethered to and rooted in Israel's scriptures and traditions, and the story of God's movement and interactions with Israel is crucial for understanding the Jesus movement itself. So as you're reading Acts, think about it that way. Now, of course, we live after the Parting of the Ways has occurred, and we have to be very careful that we don't anachronistically retroject our understanding of these two religions into that story. And certainly the book of Acts has been used in tragic ways in our relationships between Christians and Jews. But that, I think, is a perversion of Luke's purpose, which, to underscore again, was writing to recover, a kind of rescue and recovery of Jewish heritage and traditions for this early Christian movement. Okay, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to talk to you again.